The 48 Laws of Power Cinematic Audiobook Script. Have you ever watched someone walk into a room and immediately command respect without saying a word? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to rise effortlessly while others struggle despite working twice as hard? What if I told you that power isn't something you're born with, it's something you learn? Picture this. Two people enter the same company on the same day. Same education. Same background. Same opportunities. 5 years later, one is leading teams and making decisions. The other is still waiting for their chance. What happened in between? What invisible rules did one person understand that the other completely missed? By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to transform your life using these timeless principles of influence and strategy. The game nobody tells you about. Let me take you back to a moment that changed everything. Imagine you're sitting in a meeting. You've prepared for weeks. You have the best ideas in the room. You're ready to shine. But when you speak, people glance at their phones. Your words disappear into the air like smoke. Then someone else says almost the exact same thing 15 minutes later, and suddenly everyone's nodding. Writing it down. Calling it brilliant. What just happened? You just witnessed the invisible game. The game of perception. The game of power. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Life isn't just about being good at what you do. It's about understanding how people think. How they feel. How they decide who to trust and who to ignore. This isn't manipulation. This is awareness. This is seeing the world as it actually works, not as we wish it would work. The first shift: never outshine those above you. Let's start with something that feels completely wrong at first. Think about the most talented person you know. Maybe it's you. Someone who's naturally gifted. Someone who walks into any situation and immediately shows everyone how smart they are. How capable they are. Now imagine this person working for someone insecure. Someone who built their position slowly over years. And here comes this bright star, solving problems in minutes that took others weeks. What happens next? Here's where it gets interesting. That brilliant person doesn't get promoted. They get pushed out. Quietly. Slowly. Their ideas get ignored. Their projects get reassigned. And they can't understand why. The reason? They made their superior feel small. Power isn't just about being the best. It's about making the right people feel good about themselves. Think of the sun. Bright. Powerful. Essential. But when the sun shines too close, it doesn't illuminate. It burns. In the court of Louis XIV, there was a finance minister named Fouquet. He threw a party so magnificent, so expensive, so perfectly executed that it made the king himself feel ordinary. 3 weeks later, Fouquet was arrested. His crime? Making the king look small by comparison. You don't have to dim your light. You just have to know when to let others shine brighter. The second shift: guard your intentions. Picture yourself playing cards. Every hand you pick up, you smile. You frown. You sigh. You celebrate. Within 3 rounds, everyone at the table knows exactly what you're holding. That's how most people move through life. Completely transparent. Totally predictable. Now imagine someone else at that table. Their face never changes. They bet the same way whether they have a winning hand or nothing at all. You can't read them. You can't predict them. And that uncertainty? That makes them powerful. Here's the shift. Stop announcing your plans. Stop explaining your strategy. Stop telling everyone what you're about to do next. Think about a chess master. They don't narrate their moves 5 turns in advance. They stay quiet. They watch. They wait. And when they finally move, it's devastating because nobody saw it coming. I'm not saying lie. I'm saying protect your space. Create mystery. Let people wonder. Let them guess. Because the moment everyone knows your next move, they can prepare. They can block you. They can beat you to it. The most successful people you admire? They move in silence. They build in private. They only reveal results, never the process. The third shift: make others come to you. There's an old story about a king and a philosopher. The king wanted to meet the wisest man in his kingdom. So he sent messengers. "Come to the palace," they said. "The king requests your presence." The philosopher didn't move. The king sent gifts, promises, threats. Nothing worked. Finally, the king himself traveled to the small house where the philosopher lived. And in that moment, everything changed. The philosopher didn't gain power by going to the palace. He gained it by making the palace come to him. Here's what this means for your life. When you chase, you lose value. When you pursue too eagerly, people sense desperation. But when you create something valuable and stay still, the world comes to you. Think about job interviews. The candidate who seems too eager, too available, too grateful just for the opportunity, they rarely get the offer. But the candidate who has options, who makes the company work to impress them, that's who gets hired. That's who gets respect. Stop running toward every opportunity. Build something worth running toward. Let your values speak so loudly that others have no choice but to come to you. The fourth shift: say less than necessary. Imagine two people in the same conversation. One person talks constantly, explains everything, fills every silence, justifies every decision, overshares every detail. The other person speaks in short, measured sentences, listens more than they talk, leaves space in the conversation. Who seems more powerful? The second person. Always. Here's why. Words lose value when there are too many of them. Silence creates weight. Brevity creates impact. Think about the most powerful figures in history. They didn't give long explanations. They made short, memorable statements that people remembered for decades. When you talk too much, you reveal too much. You give away your position. You show your weaknesses. You create opportunities for people to misunderstand you or use your words against you. But when you say less, people fill the silence with their own meanings. They project importance onto you. They assume you know more than you're saying. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means being intentional. Every word should serve a purpose. Every sentence should carry weight. Master the pause. Master the silence. Master the art of making people lean in to hear what you have to say. The fifth shift: protect your reputation at all costs. Your reputation walks into the room before you do. It gets you meetings you never asked for. It opens doors you didn't even know existed. It makes people trust you before you've said a single word. Or it closes every door before you get close enough to knock. Think about reputation like a shadow. It follows you everywhere. It grows in the light of your actions. And once it's damaged, it's incredibly hard to repair. Here's a scene. Two businesses offer the same product at the same price. One has a reputation for reliability. The other had one scandal 2 years ago. Which one gets the customer? The first one. Every single time. Reputation isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about standing for something clear. Something people can depend on. When someone attacks your reputation, you don't ignore it. You address it immediately. You protect it fiercely. Because once doubt enters people's minds, it spreads like a virus. Build your reputation on something real. Quality. Integrity. Results. Then guard it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. The sixth shift: create spectacle. We live in a world of infinite noise. Thousands of messages every day. Hundreds of people trying to get attention. Everyone shouting into the void hoping someone will listen. So how do you stand out? You create moments people can't forget. Think about product launches. Some companies send a press release. Some companies create an event so remarkable that people talk about it for years. Steve Jobs didn't just announce new products. He built anticipation. He created theater. He turned technology into magic tricks. And people didn't just buy his products. They camped outside stores for days just to be first in line. Here's the shift. Stop being boring. Stop being predictable. Stop blending into the background. Find ways to make what you do memorable. Visual. Dramatic. Create experiences, not just transactions. Make people feel something. Make them remember. This doesn't mean being fake or over the top. It means understanding that humans are emotional creatures. We remember how things made us feel. We remember the unusual, the surprising, the spectacular. Give people something to talk about. Give them a story they want to tell. The seventh shift: use others' work to build your own. There's a reason every innovation builds on what came before. Newton said he stood on the shoulders of giants. He didn't start from zero. He looked at what already worked. He took existing knowledge and pushed it further. That's not stealing. That's wisdom. Think about this. Why spend 10 years figuring out something someone else already solved? Why reinvent the wheel when you could be building the car? Here's the practical truth. The most successful people are incredible learners. They study everything. They borrow strategies from completely different fields. They combine ideas in new ways. A restaurant owner studies Disney's customer experience. A tech founder reads military strategy. A teacher uses marketing principles to engage students. Everything connects. Everything can teach you something. Your job isn't to create everything from scratch. Your job is to recognize brilliance wherever it exists and adapt it to your situation. Stand on those shoulders. See further. Build higher. Just always give credit where credit is due. Honor your sources. That's not just ethical. It's strategic. Because when you acknowledge your influences, you look confident, not insecure. The eighth shift: control the battlefield. Imagine trying to win a game where someone else makes all the rules. They decide when you play, where you play, how you play, what defines winning. You're not competing anymore. You're just reacting. Now flip it. Imagine you set the terms. You choose the location. You decide the timeline. You define what success looks like. Suddenly, you're not fighting on someone else's terms. You're fighting on yours. Here's what this looks like in real life. A job candidate doesn't just answer questions. They redirect the conversation to their strengths. A negotiator doesn't accept the first frame. They reframe the entire discussion around what matters to them. The person who controls the environment controls the outcome. If you're better in writing, don't accept a phone call. Suggest an email exchange. If you're better with preparation, don't accept surprise meetings. Request time to prepare. Never let someone else dictate the terms of your engagement. Always find ways to shift the situation to ground where you're strongest. Make them play your game. Make them follow your rules. The final shift: master your emotions. Picture two people facing the same crisis. One person panics. They react immediately. They make decisions from fear. They say things they'll regret. They show everyone exactly how rattled they are. The other person takes a breath. They pause. They think. They respond with clarity. They stay calm even when the world around them is chaos. Which person would you follow? The second one. Always. Here's the deepest truth about power. It's not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. Your emotions are powerful. They give you energy. They give you passion. But when they control you, they destroy you. Think about anger. It feels righteous. It feels justified. But the moment you lose your temper, you lose the room. People stop respecting you. They start managing you. Or think about fear. It's natural. But when people see your fear, they doubt your capability. The greatest leaders in history weren't fearless. They just never let anyone see them break. This is the ultimate shift. Master yourself first. Understand your triggers. Know your weaknesses. Build emotional discipline like you build muscle. Because the person who can stay calm when everyone else is losing their mind, that's the person people turn to. That's the person who leads the path forward. So here's what we've discovered together. Power isn't about domination. It's not about control. It's not about making people small. Power is about understanding. understanding how the world works, understanding how people think, understanding the invisible rules that govern success. It's about being strategic with your energy, protecting what matters, creating value, building influence, staying calm in the storm. These aren't tricks. These aren't shortcuts. These are timeless principles that work because they're based on human nature. And human nature doesn't change. You don't have to use every strategy. You don't have to become someone you're not. But you do need to understand the game you're playing. Because whether you choose to play or not, the game is happening. Every day. In every interaction. In every relationship. In every opportunity. The question isn't whether you want power. The question is whether you want to be aware of how it works or remain blind to it. Your life changes when you stop being naive about how the world operates. When you stop expecting fairness and start creating advantage. When you stop hoping things will work out and start making them work out. This is your moment. Your shift. Your transformation. The world is waiting to see what you'll do with this knowledge. Make it count.